Australia will be under pressure to step up military assistance to Ukraine as the Prime Minister flies to Europe today. Our senior political reporter Trudy McIntosh is travelling with Anthony Albanese to the NATO summit and has this preview on what to expect.
On NATO's eastern flank, a show of military might. Lithuania hosts NATO troops as it prepares to welcome world leaders at this week's summit. The Baltic country shares a border with Russia to the west and Belarus to the east.
We must keep our defences strong to send a clear message to Moscow and Minsk that NATO will protect every inch of Allied territory.
Russian President Vladimir Putin has deployed tactical nuclear weapons into Belarus. Wagner mercenaries initially moved to the country in the wake of the failed coup last month.
Wagner fighters can emerge at the border as migrants, so this is the reason why we have to spend much more attention to our border, and we can expect a lot of provocations there.
It's a dramatic backdrop for the NATO summit. And for the second year in a row, Australia will be watching on.
That will be very important that Australia is represented there.
The Prime Minister is set to meet Ukraine's president. He's likely to face calls to step up military assistance in the form of more Bushmasters or Hawkeye combat vehicles.
We'll continue to provide whatever support we can when we can.
The North Atlantic Treaty Alliance was founded in 1949 in response to the threat from the Soviet Union. 74 years later, Ukraine is seeking to join the group. But that will only happen after the war ends. Allies fear any move now could provoke Putin.
We are not going to discuss an invitation at the Vilnius summit, but how we can move Ukraine closer to NATO.
NATO has also sought to expand its reach beyond Europe to our region. The Prime Minister will attend the second meeting of the so-called Asia-Pacific Four leaders with South Korea, Japan and New Zealand. But first, he'll stop in Berlin to meet German Chancellor Olaf Scholz. Australia is hoping to progress the sale of more than 100 Boxer combat vehicles. They're made in Brisbane by German company Rheinmetall. If sealed, it would mark one of the largest defence export deals, worth more than $3 billion. The meeting is also a chance to progress the free trade deal with the European Union. One of the big sticking points has been securing better access for Australian farmers. Europe has also refused to give ground on geographic indicators such as feta and Prosecco.
We're not going to do a deal just for the sake of it.
If it's not up to our standard, then we should be prepared to walk away.
The German economy is the biggest in the EU. Mr Albanese hoping to convince the Chancellor to sweeten the deal.
We think there are significant additional trade relations that we can have with Germany specifically.
Trudy McIntosh, Sky News.